Hey, thanks very much for coming to my channel and watching my latest range test with my DJI Mavic Air 2. I haven't done a range test in quite a while. I swore off doing these because of the last range test that I did at Castaic Reservoir. This was a year and a half ago. I just about dumped it right into the water when I pushed it way too much. I flew it out 25,000 feet, and when I turned around back into the wind, I knew it wasn't going to make it back. So I had to ditch it. I ditched it about 3/4 of a mile away from my start position and was really lucky to have found it. So after that, I swore that I'm not going to do this again. I love this drone. I certainly don't want to lose it. So that was the last time, and here I am doing it again. I mean, why do we do these things? We love these drones. We love the way they perform, that we could take them out, 4 or 5 miles and, have a signal lock and get video footage of areas where, we really can't access. So that's really an awesome performing drone. And certainly we want to try to push these things out as much as we can. So that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm not going to be as aggressive as I used to be because where I used to live in North Los Angeles County, I had a really great area where I could do these. And it was along Highway 126 from Santa Clarita to Ventura. And it's pretty much a straight east-west road. And where I used to launch from, I would have basically like a line of sight solid signal lock for as far as I could go. I could fly this thing as far as the battery would allow me. So that was really great. But now I've relocated to North San Diego County, and where I live now, I think I have an even better situation because I live up on a hill in an agricultural area, and I can go off in really 3 different directions and have clear line of sight and absolutely solid signal lock. At least that was one of the things I was testing here. I figured that if I can maintain line of sight for as far as I can see and fly in that direction, I probably should be able to keep a signal lock. And I learned from this video that yes and no. So you'll see the results of this. I'll tell you that it was a successful flight. I got out to 20,000 feet in one direction and was able to bring it back with 24% battery left, which I thought was great. It was ideal conditions, no wind, and again, like I said, I had clear line of sight in this direction. From where I live, I could see as far as the eye can see, and I just flew it in that direction. One of the other things I was sort of testing out as well is I've owned this drone for 2.5 years. I bought it used on Facebook Marketplace from a guy who said he didn't really abuse it, and when I checked the cycles that he used in the batteries, yeah, I could attest that. I mean, one of them he cycled maybe 10 times, and the other two, I think, less than 5. So 2 batteries were basically brand new. The other one was hardly used. And I was, for the 3 batteries, as I've flown this thing doing various videos, I've always been sort of curious about which batteries would kind of conk out first. Would I see any difference in the way each individual battery holds a charge? Would one be better than the other? So far, all of them have been about the same. And if you've seen some of my previous videos, the one in particular that I did about 2 months ago of the Iron Mountain Trail here in Poway, San Diego County, I mentioned in that video that because of my life circumstances changing, I pretty much set aside my drones for like 6, 7 months. They were sitting in the closet. I had no interest to fly them. I never even took them out to check. I just kind of put it in the closet and left it there and didn't even touch it. I didn't leave the batteries on the charger. I never do that. Usually after I fly and deplete the batteries, I just kind of, put them inside my case and I leave them. And then when I want to fly, I fill them up. And that's pretty much the way I've done it. I don't know if that's good or bad. I know they're smart batteries, so they should, regulate the voltage, and being lithium batteries, it's really important for safety that they're smart batteries. But I haven't done anything special when I store them. And I was curious, after just kind of tossing them aside and not really using them, would they still hold a charge like before? So this range test here was kind of a way of testing that. I know from previous experience that I could fly this thing fairly comfortably past 20,000 feet in one direction and bring it back with plenty of power. I could get it back. And a lot of it depends on the conditions. If it's windy, obviously you'll have some issues. This was a really clear and calm morning, so pretty much ideal conditions. And it was ideal because from three different directions from where I live, because we're up on a hill, I can basically have clear line of sight as far as the eye can see. So that's what I did here. I was curious to see if I would be able to maintain a solid signal lock the entire time. And the answer to that was kind of yes and no. As I got out further, even though I was clear line of sight in that exact direction with me up on a hill, and I had this thing up about 600-700 feet, I should have been able to keep a pretty solid signal lock. But as I got out to as far as I took it, it was getting to 3 bars, and then it started dipping to 2. It never dropped out though. It never initiated the return to home when that happens on the way out. But it did, surprisingly enough, do that a few times on the way back. So as I was flying it back towards me on the same exact line, it dropped out twice where I lost signal, and then it initiated the automatic return to home, and then it connected again, and then it only dropped out for just a couple seconds on 2 occasions. But the signal lock coming back was worse than the signal lock going out, so go figure. But I was pretty happy to see this battery perform, this 2.5-year-old battery perform basically as it's performed since the time I got it. So that was really nice to know. And it's really cool that I can do these range tests right from where I live. In Santa Clarita, I would have to drive to a different location. It was about 15 miles away. I had to park my car off the side of the road in an area where I wouldn't get bothered, because there's, private agricultural areas out there, and if you park your car in the wrong spot, I mean, they get on you really quick. Like the superintendent of these agricultural fields will come out and they'll hassle you. A couple times that happened, where they came out and hassled me as I was flying. I mean, one time this guy just pulled his truck right in front of me and just kind of stood there staring at me and sort of tapping on his windowsill like, when are you going to move? And I told him, just let me finish my flight and then I'll get out of here. So this is so much better. I don't have to be, confronted by anybody. I could just do this off the privacy of my own porch at my house. So that's pretty good. But like I said, I mean, I just love flying these drones. And now that I'm kind of more settled in my living situation and life situation, I've been a little bit more motivated and eager to put content on my video or on my channel a little bit more regularly. So I'm starting to post videos every week, and it's been fun. I'm putting a little bit more variety of content on my channel, some motorcycle videos where I talk about motorcycles. I have another video that you might want to check out if you've ever driven by Speed Vegas in Las Vegas. It's that place where you can rent an exotic sports car and take it around a closed circuit track. It's really fun. That's the last video that I posted. You want to check that out if you've ever thought about doing it. It's a bucket list for me, because I just love watching racing on TV. I've never done it on a closed circuit in a decent car, and this was the first time, so it was a lot of fun. But as I was looking back through some of the videos that I'd done before, I really love doing range tests. So here is the turnaround point. At this point, I was exactly 20,000 feet out. I could have gone further, because you can see that I did have enough battery Well, it was more than 50% left. Just to let you know, it was at 17,000 feet when I got the first warning to turn around and come back. So as you know, when you're doing those warnings, they're very conservative. They warn you and they say the battery is depleting, you got to turn around and come back. If you turn around right when they tell you to, you'll come back with 35% left. So they want to do it conservatively so you won't, you know, fly your battery to depletion and have to ditch it or have it fall out of the sky. That I've learned over the years is very conservative, so we can push it. So what I did is I canceled out that alert and just kept going. So as I was flying out as I was approaching 20,000, I was saying to myself, you know, I'm gonna fly it out past 20, or I kind of set in my mind I want to get to 20 and turn around. If you notice right there where the drone paused, that was where I lost signal just for a second, and then it reinitiated or reconnected, and then it just gave me back control of it. So this happened twice on the way back, and that was the first time. But like I was saying, my goal was to take it out to 20,000. I had more than 50% left. I was flying at this point about 700 feet above the ground, and was just enjoying a really great flight. It was a perfect day. I didn't get too many aircraft warnings. I think I got two of them. And so just kind of enjoying this view back, flying back towards my home position, feeling pretty good that I got out 20,000. I didn't really feel stressed that I was going to be pushing the battery to depletion because it was not really windy and I got that far out, and I know that the thing is conservative in the way it projects. So I felt really confident coming back that I would have plenty of juice, and it turned out to be the case. I brought it back, I think, with 24% left. There was so much left in the tank when I got back. I felt like I could, you know, buzz around the neighborhood a little bit or go explore some other places, but I didn't. I just basically flew it in one straight direction, basically due south of my position as far as the eye can see, got it out, and then turned around at 20 and just flew it straight back and then landed it to see, you know, what the battery would do. So yeah, I'm pretty happy. These are, like I said, 2.5-year-old batteries. I think I've got 40 cycles in all three of the batteries, so I've flown quite a bit. I don't know when these things wear out or how many cycles is maximum. I do have a friend who bought the Mini 2, the newest one, and he bought it brand new from either Costco or Sam's Club, got the Fly More pack, and was flying it. He doesn't really take it out on long flights like I do. He just kind of buzzes around the neighborhood park or the dog park or whatever. Nothing really major. And he has had some serious issues with all three of his batteries. In fact, he's gotten to the point now where none of his batteries hold a charge. Like, he can top them off and he puts it in and the thing just depletes really fast, and to the point where his drone is not flyable. I'm not really sure what's going on. For reference, that road right down below is Highway 76, and that's the east-west corridor from Oceanside to the west that links up with the 5 freeway. And you take this road 76 east, it links up with the 15, which is about 20 miles inland. So, but yeah, I don't know why he's having issues. He told me about those things, so that was another reason why I was curious to, you know, dust off my drone and do a range test to see, you know, these 2.5-year-old batteries with 40 cycles on them, are they going to be performing the way they did when I got them? And the answer is yes. Maybe I got lucky, I'm not sure what happened to my buddy. His drone, actually, he bought it new, like I said, and he's had it less than 6 months, and he's already, you know, having issues with all three of his batteries. So I don't know if what he has to do. I really haven't done anything. I know people say that you're supposed to upgrade the batteries, or there's some kind of firmware update that you can do on the batteries, and I've never done any of that stuff. And if you watched my previous drone video of the Iron Mountain Trail in Poway, I was saying that when I first dusted off the drone, having not flown it for 6 months, I had the old app on my phone, which I never updated. So when I tried to launch, it said it's unable to launch, and there's IMU error and all these error messages. So I was doing things like trying to recalibrate the IMU, which is a huge pain in the ass. And I would try to do that or follow the instructions. It seemed like I did it correctly, but then it still wouldn't take off. So I'm like, oh man, maybe there's something wrong with this thing. But it was really as simple as just upgrading the app on your phone to the latest firmware, and then it connected, and this thing has been flying better than ever. At least I like the way the little Google thing in the bottom left of the screen. It traces your line going out and back, which is a lot easier to navigate back. At least it feels that way to me. And like I said, I had a pretty solid signal lock going out. I had a few little glitches coming back, but was able to take this thing out, 20,000 feet with really no issues. And so I'm going to try a couple different things. I'm going to try a different battery, and I'm going to put on these new propellers that I have. So I bought these new propellers that are supposed to be better than the OEM and Master Air Screw or whatever they're called. I can't remember. But I've got these new propellers that I bought like a year and a half ago, and I never put them on. So I'm going to try them out and do like a morning where similar conditions, with no wind, get another battery 100%, take it out in one direction as far as I can, and see if there's any, increase in performance. If I remember, the manufacturer said you're going to get like 10% more power, 10% more efficiency, or something like that. So I'm going to test that out and see. In this area where I live, I've got a couple directions that I can go. There's like 3 different directions depending on the wind. This, because I went south, it's more of a crosswind. So in this area, as you probably know, the winds usually come out of the west and they go east. And this was a particularly calm morning. Some mornings it blows, like the day before it was blowing in the morning. I had thought about taking off yesterday to do this, but I put it away because of the wind that I saw in the morning. But this day was perfect, so I'll wait for another day when it's similar conditions, and then I'll put on those other propellers. Or maybe I'll do this with all 3 of my batteries. So I have 3 batteries. This is the one that has the least number of cycles on it. The other 2 have more. So yeah, I got back with room to spare. I mean, it was to the point where, I could see exactly where I am, and I might as well, take a jaunt over some of the other hills. But then I decided, no, let's just get it right back to my start position. So I'm kind of, establishing these consistent conditions so I can make a valid comparison when I start doing the other batteries, or when I start putting on, the new propellers or something. So anyways, this is my range test, and thanks very much for hanging with me on this video. Appreciate it.